So how much AI do you as the firm owner need to know in your firm? Do you need to know a little? Do you need to know a lot? And how much time should you be investing in AI right now? In this video, I'm going to show you 3 different paths you can take so that your firm doesn't get left behind during this AI craze. And I know there's a lot of rabbit holes, there's a lot of shiny objects, but ultimately AI is trending hard right now, and we need to stay ahead of the curve. So I want to show you 3 different paths you can look at so that you can level your firm up when it comes to AI. The first path, and that this is the path that I see most firm owners taking at the moment, is that they just learn AI themselves. They want to become the AI power users. We learn about these different tools like ChatGPT, Codex, Claude Cowork, Claude Code, variety of different tools out there where we're moving beyond just chatting with AI and having AI actually do the work for us. And in order for that to take place, we need to learn a new set of skills. So learning Claude Code or learning Claude Cowork as an example, that takes time to develop those reflexes, that muscle memory, and the technical know-how about how to use these tools to automate various things in our firm. And certainly there's a lot of firms out there that are going down that path. And for some, that might be the right path. I have a member in our Future Firm Accelerate program. She has an AI background. Her firm is around 750, 800 grand at the moment. And she's running it with 2.5 FTE. And she's growing super fast. And she is the definition of an AI power user. She's automating everything imaginable in her firm, from file reviews to communications with clients to some of the advisory work. And she has a goal by this time next year to have 80% of her repetitive processes being automated. So I think that's awesome. She loves AI. She's passionate about that. She wants to spend more time there and is clearly working for her. So we certainly have that as an opportunity. However, just know that not all of us are well suited for that path. So the pros of this approach is that we have all the control. We have the power to automate what we want, when we want, and how we want. And we could help other team members kind of level up at the same time as well. So definitely that's a strong selling point for many. On the con side of things, many firm owners are already underwater, super busy. They're already spread thin. They're handling every single thing imaginable at their firm, and adding that additional project onto their plate is perhaps something they just might not be able to make enough progress with in quick enough time. Because we don't want to get left behind here. And I'm not going to say if we don't become AI power users and our team doesn't become AI power users in the next year that you're going to be completely obsolete. I'm not saying that, but we still need to ride this wave a little bit. So if we don't have the bandwidth to make it happen, and perhaps we're not super interested in learning all this ourselves, and we might not have the technical know-how nor interest, then path number one to becoming that AI power user in our firm might not be the best path. So that's where we introduce path number two, and that's where we start outsourcing AI improvement and outsourcing AI expertise. So instead of trying to figure it out all on your own and you becoming that AI power user, you can get others to do it for you. And there's plenty of good options that have popped up now. There's automation agencies like Opser. Isaac has a great channel on YouTube, and there's plenty of others out there that are helping firms level up when it comes to automation. The third option is that you bring this fully in-house. And this is the option that I eventually took when I was running Xen Accounting. So when I started Xen Accounting as an early cloud firm in 2013, we had all these new tools at our disposal. And there were the online apps, and they would connect with each other, and data would flow from one to the other. And that would allow us to streamline processes and automate the work and deliver a new kind of client experience. And personally, at the beginning, I was very interested with this. I spent my days demoing the software, playing around with the integrations, figuring out how data would flow from one to the other, modeling out the client experience, modeling out our processes. I spent a lot of time there. As the firm grew, however, I wasn't able to stay on top of that. I wanted to deal with marketing. I wanted to deal with sales, with business development, with strategy. I was still overseeing a number of clients at the time. And the technology of things, which was one of our differentiating points at that point in time, was starting to slip a bit. And because I wasn't able to dedicate the time required, and because I saw that as a big selling point to our firm, and because I saw that as the future of our firm, decided to hire a dedicated head of technology and bring that in-house. Now, what would this person do? Well, I looked at our job post for this head of technology role, and in fact, I have a podcast episode about this as well. So if you just search head of technology future firm, you'll find that podcast episode. But there's a couple things that I'm reading from this job post that were posted in 2016, which I think is actually pretty relevant to what that job might be look like if we retrofitted it into some kind of AI role. So one of the duties would be the first point of contact for clients on matters relating to technology, app, and software related questions, issues, and or problems. So we were implementing technologies and workflows for our clients, and we had clients asking questions about how to use that feature, how to use this feature, or if there's problems that we're clearing with the technology. We needed someone to be that expert and point of contact. We need someone to communicate with our clients to select and implement the correct technology stack to help them streamline and automate their workflows. So we were essentially technology and process improvement advisors. That was baked into our plans. And when something was not going smooth in their finance related workflows, they came to us for assistance. We needed someone to engage in research to continuously find the most cutting edge apps that we might want to implement in our current customers' workflows. And when required, we'd utilize the APIs of these cloud accounting systems to build our own custom workflows for our customers. So if we saw that there was inefficiencies with how some of the books were being handled and no dedicated app out there existed, well, we wanted to actually build apps ourselves. And that's not too different from what I'm seeing happen in the market today when it comes to an AI standpoint. We want to use AI to make ourselves more efficient, and we want to use AI to help our customers become more efficient. And there's a variety of different titles we might have for this kind of role. It could be a head of technology, it could be an AI lead, it could be an AI evangelist at the firm. Mike Libby from YBL in Canada was the AI power user at his firm, and he decided at a certain point in time that he needed to divest of that. So he was building all kinds of apps and all kinds of workflows, and he was vibe coding left, right, and center. And he put out a job post a couple weeks ago for an AI solutions architect. And what would they do? Well, they handle AI, internal AI and automation development. They'd handle client solutions, system design, and requirements. They'd handle systems ownership and application development. They'd handle the cloud architecture and deployment. So all this to say is they would own AI at the firm. If AI tools needed to be built, if AI workflows needed to be deployed and developed, they would be the ones in charge of that. And Mike can go back to what he should be doing at the firm, which is growing the firm. There's not a one size fits all approach for all firms. And some firms might be well suited to go down path one, where they learn AI and become the power user, and then move to path three or path two. Or we might go from path one to learn AI to then outsource it and then to in-house it. What I did as I became the technology power user at my firm, and then I moved to path three to in-house it. But what I'm trying to say is that we don't need to necessarily become the AI power users if we don't have an interest and if we don't want to. So, I gave you an example of one of our Future Firm Accelerate members who was definitely that AI power user, around 800 grand in revenue, 2.5 FTE, growing fast. It's working very well for her. I have another member in Future Firm Accelerate, around 2 million in the firm, super profitable, also growing really fast. They're not using much AI at all. And truthfully, the owner does not want to be that AI power user. She just wants to understand enough about what AI can do and then go get the help that's needed, either from an outsource perspective or perhaps eventually to in-house that. But she wants someone else to handle that for her. So the point of this video is that if you feel that you're being drawn to become that AI power user, perhaps take a step back and see, does that actually make sense for you? given everything else you have in your plate, given where your strengths lie, given where the opportunities lie at the moment in your firm, does it make sense for you to do a deep dive into AI and become that power user and learn the tools backwards and forwards? That's up to you to decide. But there are other paths. And I've highlighted some of the other paths. They all come with their pros and cons. No matter what, though, I do think it's a good idea to dip your toe in. Okay, just like that other firm owner I mentioned that doesn't want to become that AI power user, she is going to dip her toe in because she needs to know what's out there. She needs to know what it's doing, and she needs to know its capabilities so that she could help strategize about where she wants to take the firm. She doesn't need to be the one actually running the AI. She doesn't need to be the one deep in Claude code, building all these tools and apps. But she just wants to know what it's capable of so that she can start determining, okay, what do we outsource, if at all? And what do we bring in house, if at all? And how do we level up our team? I do think we have a responsibility to upskill our team so that they're moving from just chatting with the AI to starting to dip their toe into how we can get AI to do some of the work for us. All right, so let me know what path you're taking, or if you have any questions about some of the paths I outlined here. Path number one is you become the AI power user. Path number two is you outsource that to an agency. And path number three is you bring that in-house. So what path are you going to be taking when it comes to becoming the AI expert in your firm? I'll talk to you later.